The Department of Transport says it plans to restore the passenger rail agency to its former glory. Prasa has been brought to its knees despite South Africa having the best rail system in the country. Let's look closely then at the rail system and what is needed to ensure that workers get to work safely and keep the infrastructure safe. Let's speak now to Mesela Nhlapo, who is the CEO of the African Rail Industry Association. Good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. A lot of people say that we have the best rail system when you look at other parts of the continent, but it's no secret that this particular system is deteriorating, and even Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula saying that Prasa is indeed broken. Other people are wondering because it's been bit by bit and it's been happening over time. Very briefly, how would you say we got here?
Leadership. I think any organization that struggles with permanent leadership for a long time often finds itself here. Prasa has had about 10 CEOs in a period of 10 years, and 10 CEOs, in a period of 6 years. That in itself is problematic, and most of those CEOs were acting. At some point, there was no board, and then the board was disbanded. So it's a restart each time. And the unfortunate part is that we have a minister that is willing and to fix the railways, and he doesn't do operation side. So we need to have a stable leadership at Prasa, and not an investigative Prasa that is forever going to investigate the previous leadership. So leadership is quite key.
And it sounds, from what you're saying, that even the latest bid in terms of the installment in the fight in the leadership with the CEO and him wanting to then be reinstated, that is also not helping matters.
Look, it doesn't help matters. As industry, we get excited each time somebody gets appointed. From Mr. Mpondo, he had made some very important appointments. Ms. Damasani, she is one of the best engineers or the people that operate in the rail space. And unfortunately, she was there for a short time. So we can't really have a conversation with anyone at Prasa because you don't know how long they will be there. And hence it's important that the organization is stabilized to ensure that we save the rail industry. If Prasa doesn't work, then the rail industry doesn't work. Then there is too much pressure on Transnet to do the procurement. Then hence it's important for us as private sector that we get granted third-party access. Then the client base will be diversified and the rail industry will not rely on Prasa and Transnet only. So there is the magic by including more private sector participants in the rail space so that there is a breather within state-owned entities. And when they go through trouble, the rail industry is not badly affected.
And when we look at the economy, contracting sharply, we've got issues around, the unemployment numbers going up. And also sometimes in other cases, it's underutilized infrastructure. You're talking about third-party access that you say could also help lessen the load. I wonder then what becomes the barriers of entry, because the president has spoken about this third-party access as well. What then are the barriers of entry for the private sector here?
The barriers of entry currently, it's Transnet or government allowing third-party private operators to access the network. And we believe that currently Department of Public Enterprises is busy with vertical separation, but there is no need to wait for the complete vertical separation for third-party access to take place. And interestingly, we have had a legal opinion by our legal counsel, Weber Wenzel, that there is no new legislation that is required for third-party access to be implemented today. Now, when you talk about unemployment, it breaks my heart when I see my Black brothers and sisters showing off their gowns on Twitter that they have graduated. Sad thing is, on the other side, there's no industry. We're just going to create unemployed graduates. Now, through policy, we can rebuild this country. This country was built let's use rail to rebuild the employment. Let's do manufacturing and create more jobs, build this economy.
So if what, what Weber Wenzel then is saying is to be taken at face value, it sounds then like more of the work is going to have to go towards implementation, much more than trying to draft more policy. And so now the nub of the matter is going to have to move towards implementation.
Absolutely. And it's not only Weber Wenzel that holds the view, or representing us holds the view that there's no legislation that is required. Under the Deputy Minister Treasury's Office, Operation Vulindlela, they also agree that there is no need for new legislation. So when the president announced that there will be third-party access, as an organization, we took it upon ourselves as active citizens that we will conduct a study, of which it was titled Practical Implementation into Third-Party Access. We cannot be spectators in our own country. We need to work with government. Our marriage with government is not that of convenience, but is about rebuilding the country and saving whatever we have left, particularly on the railway side.
And one of the biggest problems also, has been theft. I mean, you look at cable theft, you look at some of the stripping of even infrastructure when it comes to some of these railway lines. That has played quite a significant role. I wonder, because one of the things I hear you say is talk about thinking outside the box. How do we begin to ensure that we resolve this? Because it's a huge problem that often, leads to delays where people get to work late, but also at the same time where trains are not functioning properly.
It's not about Prasa. The theft is not about Prasa. It's not about the minister. It's not about people in the railway industry. It's about us, South Africans. It's our asset. We have to protect it. We can't be looking to government and say, well, the infrastructure has been stripped. Somebody in South Africa knows something. And why is it that we're not doing anything about it? If I know somebody that is causing damage to the infrastructure, the same infrastructure that is supposed to get me to work, I better do something about it. So it's about protecting what is ours. And having said that, we expect law enforcement agencies to come up with the decent plan to make sure that the infrastructure, those that are the kingpins of this vandalism, to be arrested and prosecuted. And the guys that they're catching that are stealing the cables, I don't think that they are the guys that are kingpins. The scrapyard, what are we doing about that? This is our country. This is our infrastructure. We have paid for it. We'll continue paying for it. It is up to us. It is in our hands to save it.
Now, in the absence of that, in the absence of information coming forward, and also, we see in various railway stations, there are security guards that are there who are watching, but obviously it doesn't look like they also are able, to deal with some of the overwhelming, incidents that they sometimes find themselves in. I wonder what would be your advice, as you say that police need to come up with strategies in order to deal with this. I wonder, at a practical level, when you look at the rail system, what advice would you have for the police tonight to start looking into this and devise a plan that is going to not see the system and the infrastructure deteriorate as well, because theft is also a huge issue?
I believe that Transnet already has a security cluster that is working on the issue, and they're using technology to monitor the network. But for me, the police have been working with Transnet. It is something that could be done. But problems like this, they also bring about innovative ways, technology that will help to curb this vandalism. So we have had suppliers that have looked at the problem and have coming up with solutions. Transnet is easier to talk to, the engineers that we need to talk to, whereas at Prasa, we don't know. We can engage the CEO today, and then tomorrow the CEO is not there. For an example, we had engaged with the CEO that just left now, that We know that there are engineering or rather technical specification problems. We are willing to let engineers that have retired that are available to assist Prasa in making sure that the technical specification is correct. When the tender adjudication is done properly from a technical perspective, so that we compare apples with apples. And we find that now that he's gone, we're going to have to restart a conversation with somebody. Our appeal to the board, to the CEO, to the minister, even to the presidency, transport is the backbone of this country. Let us work together to fix this. Government, Mr. Mbalula cannot fix this on his own. We cannot live without him. All we are calling out to the minister that let's work together to come up with a plan to save our infrastructure and to make rail work.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. That was Mesela Nhlapo. She's the CEO of the African rail industry. Let's move to this now. 2 more deaths of initiates have been recorded in the Eastern